I am going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. I want to say that to our folks who are listening to this in some digital form or other, that we had a little bit of technical difficulty, so we're on just a few minutes late. And I want to thank our staff for working hard to get that figured out. Councilmember Reese has not been able to get back in yet, and this is going to be a brief meeting with one very important matter, and I want to make sure that everybody's here. So we're going to just wait for a moment until we can make sure that Councilmember Reese is able to get on the call. So everybody hang tight, and we'll be back for the roll call as soon as he's able to be here.
Hi, everybody. Hi.
All right, Councilmember Reese is here.
Sorry, I got kicked out of the last meeting.
Yes, you did. It was a thing that we do to you occasionally to make sure that you're on your toes.
And I saw a chat that said they were going to send out another invite, but there was no other invite.
Well, you apparently found it and made it back in, and we're glad to see you.
Well, here I am. For better or worse, I'm here.
All right, and Councilmember Freeman is with us. Yes, everybody's here. Great. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Sure. Mayor Schul.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Johnson.
Here.
Councilmember Caballero.
Here.
Councilmember Freeman.
Here.
Councilmember Middleton.
Here.
Councilmember Reese.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Colleagues, as you know, we have one item before us at this special meeting. It's a very important duty, which is to fill the seat, the vacant Ward 3 seat, vacated by the resignation of Councilmember Vernetta Alston when she took the seat in the North Carolina General Assembly. We have, I think we all agree, an extraordinary field of finalists, and we are now called upon to choose among these finalists for the person who will take this seat, which will need a majority vote of the council, which will mean that anyone who takes this seat will need 4 votes. The way we're planning to proceed, as you all remember, is everyone will be afforded the time to make brief remarks. And after those brief remarks, we will vote on the candidates. If someone gets a majority vote of the votes, that person will be elected. And if not, we may, as in the past, when we have filled past vacancies, have to go to subsequent ballots. Are there any questions or comments that anyone would like to make about the process before we get going? Councilmember Caballero.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good morning. We had gotten the ballot sent to us via email, so was just trying to remember what the order, when do we fill out that ballot?
We'll fill out that ballot after everyone has made their comments.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah, I'll let everyone know. And we'll have one round of comments. All right, and now I'll begin. Is there anyone that would like to begin our comments? Councilmember Reese.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and good morning, colleagues and everyone tuned in the Durham community. I want to thank everyone who applied for the Ward 3 vacancy, and especially the 5 finalists who endured 4.5 hours of interviews with us last week. That must have been fun for them. I also want to thank each and every one of my colleagues for coming together around a process that we adopted unanimously and that focused on the substantive issues facing our city. Few decisions we can make as a council are as important as filling a vacancy on this body, and I'm proud to have been a part of this good process. I also want to just take a brief moment to recognize State Representative, former council member Vernetta Alston, whose vacancy we are filling today. No one can replace Vernetta on this body, but we are obligated to choose a successor, and that's why this morning I'll be proud to vote for Pierce Freelon to fill the Ward 3 vacancy. I truly believe that Pierce has a unique connection to Durham's rich historical heritage, a clear vision of Durham's future as a city that works for everyone, and the ability to inspire us all to get to that future together. I also want to thank Councilmember Middleton for using some of his valuable interview time to clear up any lingering doubts anyone could have had about Pierce's residency in Ward 3. I live in Ward 3. I've known Pierce as a longtime Ward 3 resident, and I'm happy that he's back in Ward 3. Lastly, I just want to commend all of my colleagues again for keeping this appointment process focused on the issues that matter to this city and on building up the candidates that we support and not tearing down the candidates we don't. We've all conducted ourselves admirably during this process, and I'm confident that we'll continue to do so this morning. Colleagues, I'm hopeful you'll join me in making Pierce Freelon the next Ward 3 representative on the City Council. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Reese. Who would like to follow with comments? Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to echo Councilmember Reese's appreciation to everyone who participated in this process. As we all know, it is not easy to put yourself out there for this kind of role, nor is it easy to serve in this kind of role. So I just want to appreciate everyone who is willing to really take a huge step and make a big personal sacrifice to serve our city in this critical time. All of our finalists are fabulous individuals. They're all community-minded, very dedicated to Durham. It was clear from our interviews that every single one of them is really committed to this city and wanting to make sure that our residents can do well and thrive, especially during this pandemic, where I think we're all seeing the really difficult impacts of COVID-19 in the community. And that everyone brought a unique perspective to our conversation. I really appreciated hearing from everyone. I'm also going to be voting for Pierce Freelon today to fill our vacancy. I think that there are a number of qualities that I feel that he exemplifies that will make him an excellent council member. The thing that I'm most excited about is Pierce's stated commitments to continuing some of the work that I feel is most important on this council that we've been doing over the last several years. The work of equitable community engagement, of racial equity, of police reform, of housing justice. And I appreciate Pierce's clear stated values and commitment to work on all of these issues that are critically facing our city right now and our residents, and to continue the council's direction on these really important issues that we are continuing to make progress on, and I want us to continue to make progress on in the future. So again, I want to thank all of our finalists for their participation. Really, really important that we had such incredible people apply to fill this vacancy, and I hope that we'll continue to see so many amazing folks get involved in, continue to be involved in city government. And I want to thank all my colleagues for going through this process together, and for the excellent, spirit in which we've conducted this process. It was shorter than our last appointment. It felt a little bit, and it's difficult, doing anything with COVID. So I just want to appreciate all of you for sticking it out. And I'm really excited to have someone taking on this role. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Mayor Pro Tem. Who would like to speak next? Anyone like to go next? Councilmember Middleton.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good morning, colleagues. This is a bittersweet day because as long as we didn't fill this seat, there was always the chance that Renata was going to come bopping back through the door. So this kind of exclamation point today is emotional. I echo my colleagues' comment that there is no replacing her. But fortunately, we're blessed with an incredible field of candidates. These seats are the property of the people of Durham. And there is no more sacred responsibility we have than the guardianship of them and the stewardship of them. And I very much see our role, since we are not having an election, as custodial, as stewards of these seats, as surrogates for the electorate. which means that we should bring the utmost sobriety and seriousness to this selection process. And I didn't get much sleep last night because I was very, very pensive and very prayerful about this decision. Because I'm acting in stewardship over these seats for the people of Durham, there are two things that I wanted to inform my decision. One, I don't want to hold anything against anyone because of any personal feelings I may have or any personal biases I may have. Secondly, I also don't want to reward anyone because they may be in a position to do things that the average person can't do. Because I think that's what the electorate would want me to do. I want to thank Councilor Reese for highlighting my questions that I think he said helped to clear up any lingering doubts about Pierce. I would remind my colleagues, though, I asked the same questions to everyone. My motive was not to clear up any lingering doubts about Pierce. My questions were aimed at giving everybody an opportunity to establish their residency and their amount of vestedness, and then let the people who were watching decide. Now, if there were any doubts created by the response to the questions, that's another matter. But I was not in pursuit of any to clear up any lingering doubts, and it wasn't aimed at Pierce. I asked go back and watch the tape. I asked everybody about their residency. The people of this city are not stupid. They are sentient beings that can connect dots. They are intelligent. They are tuned in, and they are capable of drawing their own conclusions based upon the fact pattern. And I trust the people of the city to be able to do that. Whatever conclusions they draw from their fair viewing, they will. I took the kind of the and this is a terrible metaphor, the Frankenstein approach to this. I wanted to take a piece of something from each candidate and kind of merge it into a super candidate. The temperament and reverence of Sarah Sinning for the institution, the sheer policy chops and experience of a Sheila Huggins, the passion and vestedness in community of a Leonardo Williams, Mayor Pro Tem has given voice to Pierce's immense depth of goodwill for the city and investedness in the city. Councilor Reese also has spoken to his immense deep roots in the city. His intellect, of course, is unquestionable. I really wanted to find a way to take a piece from each candidate and put it in one candidate, one person, to safeguard this seat until ultimately the people have their say on this seat. And I believe the person that does that is Anita Daniels-Kinney. I believe that her temperament, her resume, her vestedness in the community have taken a piece of each and every one of these remarkable candidates who I hope we will see again. I hope we will see all of them on the ballot in the future. I hope we will see all of them continue to be engaged in this process. But I believe that taking the Frankenstein's monster approach, terrible metaphor, and pulling a piece from each one of these candidates, I believe that Anita Daniels-Kinney, I'm not calling her a monster, but she's the resulting entity from that. I do want to say that honoring the letter of this process allows you to walk down the street. Honoring the spirit of this process allows you to look people in the eye while you're walking down the street. And I think that it's important that we both not only honor the letter, but the spirit of this process as well. I want to thank my colleagues for a tremendous, lively, respectful, substantive debate during this process. I honor each of you. There's no more sacred decision we can make, but I look forward to these seats being returned and the decision of these seats being returned to where they belong. And that's in the hands of the people of Durham, where we make our cases and cast our lot and cast our fate. So I'll be voting for Ms. Kinney, with my profound thanks to all of the applicants and my profound insistence that each and every one of you remain engaged. And I hope to see your names on ballots in the very near future. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, colleagues.
Thank you very much, Council Member. Who would like to go next? Councilmember Freeman or Councilmember Caballero? Councilmember Caballero.
Thank you. Good morning, colleagues and staff and everyone who's watching. I want to thank everyone who applied for the appointment and for the finalists who interviewed. I know it was not an easy process because I did it too. And Durham is so lucky to have had such a great pool of talent, and I'm not making my decision lightly. Many of our finalists had very long established records of serving the community. Everyone exhibited passion for their ideas and engagement and an eagerness to serve. I will be voting for Pierce Freelon today. I'm voting for Pierce because he is unapologetic in his beliefs and values. He has the policy chops, but so did other finalists. He has served his community, but so had other finalists. And I think what impressed me and actually gave me some hope, and quite frankly, I'm in a short supply of hope these days, was that he brought his whole self during the interview. He dug into the policy, which is extremely important, but then he very enthusiastically shared why he thinks what he does and why it's important to implement those ideas. This job, especially right now, is very challenging, and even more so for those of us who lean towards the cynical. And I think having someone who can see the problems and the injustice, carry that weight, but still show up and inspire us to be bold is someone I want as a council member. So thank you to everyone for what they shared. We may not all agree, but I hope we can work to be supportive of whoever our newest council member and colleague are.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Caballero. Councilmember Freeman.
My apologies. I as well have toiled with this conversation in my head. I really appreciate having the benefit of hearing my colleagues share their thoughts, and I appreciate all of those who weighed in on the process as well from the community. I really try my best to be as supportive of what the community would ask, and it's been really hard noting that there's been so much of an outpouring of support for many of the candidates as we've all received emails, and I know there's been letters written, and I've been on the fence on this, and I'm not feeling any better about which direction to go in, and I would really love to hear the mayor's take on it. I'm not certain at this point. Yeah.
Thank you, Councilmember. I'm happy to go ahead and make my remarks. And I understand the difficulty in making this decision. I wrote out my remarks, and I'll just read them now. We are blessed with wonderful candidates for this seat, as all my colleagues have said. I can honestly say that every single one of them would make an excellent city council member. We have an incredibly strong field. Just, I was blown away, not only by the quality of the people that applied, because the finalists, 4 of the 5 finalists, I know very well and call friends and admire. And so we were very fortunate. When several of these candidates contacted me over the past several months about their interest in the seat, I encouraged them to apply because I knew that each of them was well qualified to serve. And I want to thank everyone who applied, and especially the 5 finalists who agreed to subject themselves to, I thought, a pretty intense interview for each of them. And I want to say to all of our candidates, I thought you did beautifully. I've gotten several emails and calls after the interviews about what a strong field we have and how well everyone performed during the interviews. And I want to second that. I really think that's true. I'm going to be voting for Pierce Freelon for this seat, and I'll explain why in a moment. But I first want to say a word about each of the other candidates. To Sarah Sinning, I want to say thank you for applying. Your application was excellent. You have a strong grasp of the municipal policy issues. I was especially impressed by your knowledge of housing policy. And I say to you, please stay involved in the civic life of our city. We need people like you, and it's great to see a fresh face on the seat. To Leonardo, to Sheila, to Anita, all of you are my friends, and all of you have made tremendous contributions to our community in so many ways. Sheila, you do have the policy chops, as others have said. You represent Durham so ably on the national Democratic scene, and you truly do cross so many ideological and political lines in Durham. And this is a rare gift to our city. To Leonardo, I admire your generosity of spirit, which is tremendous. Your positive outlook, your can-do attitude that has helped Durham through the crisis at McDougall Terrace and contributed so much to our city's action on behalf of small businesses during COVID-19. You took a leadership role in that, and I am so grateful for that. You're a legendary teacher, you're a committed activist, and I know you will continue to give so much to Durham. To Anita, this is the second time that you've been a finalist for one of our council vacancies, and I will say frankly, this is also the second time that you have been my runner-up in this choice. That happened as well last time, and I felt that same way this time amongst a strong field of candidates. I praise you for your willingness to serve our city in so many capacities. Your work on stepping up and so many other of our mental health and social service needs has been a tremendous gift to our city. You are a leader in your field and in our city's efforts to serve our neediest residents, and you will continue to be that leader. And thank you again for offering your service. So finally then, among this field of candidates, why am I supporting Pierce Freeline for the Ward 3 seat? I got to know Pierce very well when we were running against each other, as well as my friend Farad Ali for mayor in the 2017 primary. You may remember that it was a grueling campaign season, to say the least. We had more than 30 joint appearances at debates and forums. It was hard. There was a lot of disagreement among the candidates, but through it all, Pierce was a magnanimous and kind opponent. And I know that one of the things that he will do so well is he will be a great colleague. Pierce will do a fabulous job representing the residents of Ward 3 and, more important, of our city as a whole. Pierce is generous, he is brave, he is straightforward, he's incredibly knowledgeable on the issues that face us, and he's a powerful voice for the new generation of Durham residents who are taking on the leadership of our city now. He is a passionate champion of Durham, someone who loves his native city enormously, and someone who has given great service to Durham. His connection to the young people he mentors is amazing. His work on behalf of our artists is exemplary. His voice in defense of Black lives is powerful and necessary. I really appreciate also Councilmember Caballero's comments about the hopefulness that Pierce brings in everything that he does. And I really thought that what she said about that was very insightful and important. So I'm very happy to be supporting Pierce Freeline for this seat amongst this very, very strong field of candidates. So now those are my comments. And I'll ask if Councilmember Freeman would like to add any comments now, and then we will move on to a vote. And Madam Clerk, I think you're unmuted. I'm hearing some noise from your. Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to share. I definitely have been toiling with this, and my main concern came in a letter from the Durham committee as well, and acknowledging how it felt predetermined, and my concern around trying not to push in any direction, but to just make sure that there was some way to make the process a little bit more transparent. And so I appreciate all that everyone has been able to share. And I just noting, for me, I was leaning more towards Anita Daniels or Sheila Huggins, and I had hoped there would be some conversation in that direction. And understanding that the four of you have already made a decision to move in the direction of Pierce Freeline, I feel like we should move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Member. All right, Madam Clerk, you have sent us an email with a ballot, which we're all should be ready to fill out. And so let's give everyone a moment so we can find that ballot in our email and fill it out and send it back in. Madam Clerk, let us know, please, when you've been able to receive all 6 votes. I know that.
We have 5 votes so far.
Okay. When the 6th vote comes in, we will we'll let you tally and announce the results.
Madam Clerk, do you know who's missing?
We've received the final tally for the Ward 3 vacancy position. There are 4 votes for Pierce Freelon and 2 votes for Anita Daniels Kenny.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. Thank you, colleagues. We have elected Pierce Freelon to the vacancy, 4-2. Is there interest at this point in making this a unanimous selection? Okay. All right then. Colleagues, we have 4-2 vote for Mr. Freelon. And I believe that our process calls for him next to be sworn in at our September the 8th council meeting? Is that correct?
Mr. Mayor, if I might, real quick.
Sure, please do.
The process that we approved indicated, I believe the swearing in's got to happen in person. And so the process that we approved earlier this month indicated that the eventual appointee would schedule a time with our clerk to do an in-person socially distanced swearing in at City Hall, and that then the appointee would be ready to participate in our September 8th meeting, and that the appointee and the clerk would schedule that during the current week we're in.
Okay, great. So thank you, Councilmember. That was an important piece of information. Madam Clerk, can you be in touch with Mr. Freelon? Let him know that he's been appointed. I expect he knows already. And make a date with him for the swearing in.
I'd be happy to, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, colleagues. I know that we all will welcome Mr. Freelon to our ranks, and I know he'll do a great job. I also know all of our other finalists will continue to serve Durham in so many important ways. Councilmember Caballero.
I just wanted to end really quick with this, and I say this because I know the fire hose that is awaiting Mr. Freelon because I lived it personally. And I know that what got me through were the colleagues on this council. Not everyone voted for me, but everyone welcomed me. Everyone helped me get my sea legs. And I hope that we do the same for our new council member. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You have lived it indeed. And that's very good, a very good advice and appeal to all of us. And I know we'll do it. All right, colleagues, I believe that is all the business to come before this meeting. I want to thank again each of you for your participation, your excellent participation. I thought we had a great process. And our next time together will be the city council member meeting on September the 8th. And that's our regular meeting. And I look forward to seeing all of you then. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
I love how we all wave. So funny.